Hi everyone, I hope you guys are all doing great. If you're here live, thank you again for joining our weekly training sessions. Today's training will be about the number one six-figure career mistake to avoid. And I'm super excited to be sharing my knowledge with you all. This is one that took me a little while in my own career to understand, and today I am looking to share this information with you. But before I get started, I do want to talk about who I am and what 3T Institute is about. So my name is Majiba Bianchi, or you guys can call me MJ. I'm one of the coaches at 3T Institute and the CEO. 3T Institute focuses on three things: to provide you the right technical knowledge, the mindset, and the soft skills that you need in order to have success in your career and make six figures or more. There's a lot of times as career professionals where we have this very succinct plan or this very step-by-step approach that we want to follow. We have amazing ideas, but we just don't know how to make those great ideas turn into reality. A lot of that is because we end up creating these roadblocks for ourselves, whether that is just life happening or our mental roadblocks that keep us from achieving the goals that we want in our career. If you have ever thought about having these roadblocks, or you are someone who's dealing with career roadblocks right now, just think about it. Where is it really stemming from? Why are you stuck in the current job, in your current job, making the same amount of salary and really not getting a promotion? What is really happening here? Was there a time in your career where you did excel? Were you on top of your industry? Did you always know the kind of skills you had to bring in and the kind of knowledge that you needed in order for you to be on the top of your industry? If not, and if you're someone who's been struggling with your career, then I'm here to tell you that you do have control and that you make your career what it is, and that you can absolutely earn six figures and be successful, as well as love your job. And so today's training, if you're watching this on replay, let me know that you're watching it on replay. I'm really going to be talking about that number one mistake to avoid. And so, so I'm going to go through a few mindset change techniques, some concepts that you will need to put down. So if you're here, have your notebook ready and a piece of paper. Sorry, notebook and piece of paper means the same thing. Have your notebook and a pen ready, and let's go ahead and make sure that I give you all the tools and techniques that you need, and for you to be ready to jot those down. One of the number one mistake to avoid as a career professional is to think that everything that you have been doing in the past is going to work today. What do I mean by that? Which means in the past, if you've utilized certain career approaches like technical skills, or someone told you, hey, look, if you take a job description and take all of the keywords from that job description and add it to your resume, then you're sure going to get picked up for that job. You can do that, but what happens when you get that job? Will you be able to perform at the best of your ability? Will you be able to sustain that position and have an upward movement? So the number one mistake is to really assess continuously the changes that you need to make in your career and not get comfortable where you are. And so one of the things that comes to my mind when I mention this is we all want this balance. We all focus on this balance in our career. I'm going to take a couple of courses, get my technical skills, I'll update my resume, I'll have the job where, I'll do what, the job requires because I have the technical certifications, and voila, that would be the perfect scenario. But it really isn't. Our careers have to be dynamic. We have to think dynamically, and we have to think strategically when it comes to our careers, because our bosses are too busy with meetings and emails to invest the time in us to understand exactly what we need to do today in our current position to succeed in our career. No one else is going to do that for you. So you are fully responsible for it. Now let's go ahead and get right into the training, and let me give you some tools here. The first thing that you want to do is, again, remove the idea that what you used to do and what used to get you a job may get you a job today, but it is not the strategic approach for you to continuously get promoted and for you to continue to make in the upper six figures. I always want to remind everyone that we may be young today, but you're not going to be young forever. That means that we all have a retirement age, and we also have a limited amount of energy for us to give to a company. So always have that in the back of your mind, that the performance of at an age of 20 or 30 is different level of performance for someone who is in their late 40s or 50s or 60s. That's just human anatomy. That's just how the human brain works. So that what that means is that every decade you should truly be thinking about, what is my career strategy? And what I'm doing today, is it going to help me maintain this upwardness of getting a promotion and making more money? So when I retire, I'm going to have enough money in my 401k and I can enjoy my retirement. That is the ultimate goal here. You want to remove this mindset of I'm going to work forever. You can choose to work forever, but your energy and your body isn't going to really allow you at some point. There is going to be a point of no return, as I like to call it. If you are here live, please let me know that you can hear me clearly and that you can see everything. I always like to double check, because there are times where I've done an entire training and no one could really hear me. So let's the number one step in terms of being strategic in your career. I know I mentioned every decade reassessment, but that sounds really long. I would say every 3 years you should be looking at yourself and looking at your career and looking at your skills and looking at your knowledge and saying, what do I need to do strategically to get myself up to the next level? So you must force yourself to set aside some time to think strategically, to get into a planning session, to think about the return on investment of some of the courses that you're looking to invest in, or even think about, what's the next position I want to go for. If you're currently a project manager, is your goal to be a senior project manager? Is your goal to be a director of a certain division or of a team? So think about that. Set aside some time to kind of force yourself and say, what are my strategies to move from where I am to the next level, and what do I need to do for that? Those steps have to be pretty clear. That means the second thing you're going to do after you set some time for planning and understanding what you're going to do for the next step in your career, then you want to say to yourself, okay, in order for me to be a director of a department, or in order for me to become a senior project manager, what is required for that? So that clear vision is so important here. And when I mean a clear vision, guys, not everything is another course or another program or another Udemy class or another LinkedIn learning. That's not what I'm talking about. Sometimes the knowledge that you need to gain is really getting involved within your organization. What has helped me and allowed me to grow as a dynamic career professional was that the minute I found out that there was something going on at the organization that I was interested in, I went and talked to that person and I said, hey, look, are you looking for some volunteer help? And they openly accepted me into the projects. One example I can give you is that I did not know anything about ISO standards. There are international standards that certain organizations have to follow. And I didn't know anything about them, and my interest was in learning more about these compliances and standards that government contractors had to follow. So there was an interest there because I knew that if I understood that, then I could then be a senior project manager and potentially lead proposal efforts or opportunities. And that's exactly what happened. I went and got involved in this team, and guess what? That was added skills and knowledge inside of my resume that all of a sudden now put me in a different market scale for position title and for salary. The adverse effect of not doing that is no one knows you, no one recognizes that you are a go-getter, and no one really recognizes that you're willing to learn and volunteer your time to learn, right? And so as soon as plan number one, right, setting some time aside to say, what are you going to be doing in the next 3 years? What's the title you're going after? What's the position you're going after? 2, making it pretty clear what it is that you need to learn, the knowledge you need to gain, the people that you need to have on your side in order to get where you should be getting. Third, I did talk about investing in the next thing. The third aspect of this is investing in deep work. When I say deep work, one of the quotes that comes to my mind is that your network is your net worth. So a lot of that investment goes into now networking with the right individuals who are going to get you to the next level of your career. Nowadays with COVID, it can get pretty challenging with networking, but it doesn't mean that you can that you have to stop networking. You can network virtually. And here's a trick that I can give you and how I have built a lot of relationships with those that I didn't even honestly know, but today they're some of my biggest supporters. What you want to do is you want to go on LinkedIn and you want to find an interest group. Now, if you're interested in project management or to become a VP or a director or a CEO, you want to find a mastermind group. You want to invest about 30 minutes of your day of just making connections with other individuals that have the same interest, career interest as you do, so that you can exchange information, exchange lessons learned, understand where they are in their journey, share your journey, connect on a human level. So again, our network is our net worth. You never know that the person that you're going to meet inside of those LinkedIn groups won't be the person who's going to recommend you for your next position. So focus on that and really build those relationships within these groups and have one-on-one conversations with them. Set aside a time that mutually works for both of you and have that meeting, have that conversation. Tell them what interests you, tell them what you're willing to learn. And you never know, there's an entire world out there that if we truly expose ourselves to it, there's so much to learn from others than books. There's so many things that we can learn from experiences than sitting in an online class. I'm not trying to say that online classes or books aren't a source. They are, but they're an added source. Not necessarily the only resource that you should be using to add to your knowledge and to your skills. The last and final point that I want to make here is to building your external reputation. I do work with a lot of individuals who actually they're not even known in their network. They have maybe zero connections, on LinkedIn. Or they have 50 connections and they almost fear sending out connection requests. What's the worst that can happen? If you send a connection request, all someone's going to do is potentially reject it. But out of the 5 that you send out, there's 3 potential requests that hopefully someone will accept you. And so part of that is building your network, but also building your own reputation. What do I mean by that? So if I'm saying to you right now that, hey, look, you need to be more strategic about your career. Avoid that mistake of thinking what worked 5 years ago is going to work today. It's not going to. The world of technology is changing. There are younger workforce that's coming into play. Things are, information is rapidly changing, and how people take in information is also changing. Our attention spans have been reduced to about 2.5 minutes. So think about that when you send your resume to the recruiter, when you're having a conversation with the recruiter, when you're interviewing and responding to interview questions, that the person's attention span is very short. So you better be strategic about what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. And it should be so clear that the person receiving that information understands the value that you're going to be delivering. And so when I talk about the last point here in terms of building your external reputation, that is, if you now know through this extensive planning that you're going to be a CEO, a CIO, a director, a senior project manager. Now, do the people in your network know that this is what you're going to be? Do the people in your network understand that you're working towards that goal? Have you shared or posted anything or written a blog about a particular event or a knowledge? Have you shared your knowledge in terms of the next position that you want to get into? So really, reputation building is about sharing the information that we are exposing to others, where they then say, okay, Eric, who's here, he has full knowledge of organizational operations, or Eric has full knowledge of finances. How does someone know that about you? And can someone within your network as a reference vouch for your expertise and knowledge? So this is really important, right? And part of building your reputation is also follow through. Remember that in your current position right now, even if you're not getting paid what you're supposed to get paid, even if you don't have the title that you're supposed to have, give it your 100%. Be political, be kind, act on a humane level, focus on the human factor with every single person that you're working with, and know that the mean person at the office is probably dealing with something that is unique to them. The rude manager is probably working through their own anxiety and fears, and that it has nothing to do with you, and that your behavior, now you own that. How you behave, how you act at the workplace, you own that. And just know that when we behave a certain way and say things a certain way, the way we listen, the way we talk, the way we interact, that is us building our reputation. If you go and apply for a job and you don't have a single reference to give, what does that say? So I'm going to leave you guys with that, and hope that you all enjoyed this training. If you're currently in a situation where you're saying to yourself, oh my God, I don't know what my next career projection is, or I can't figure it out, Majuba. I heard the 4 points. I know what the ask is, but I just can't wrap my head around what I need to do next to be an A player, to make 6 figures, and to ultimately have a roadmap of where I'm going to be going next. If that is you, then I can tell you this much, that there are solutions. All of my clients that I have worked with, within 90 days, they get an amazing position. They're making at least $20,000 to $30,000 more a year, and they're happy, or at least working towards understanding what that position entails and going through their maybe uncomfortable zones to finally get comfortable. So, but my program is result driven. So if this is something you're interested in, I'll go ahead and put my 15-minute quick chat. And this is not for my current clients, because I know some of my current clients watch this as well. You're already in the program and we will be taking care of you. This is for anyone else who's really looking for career support in terms of the next steps. The 15-minute strategy call is absolutely complimentary, after which, once you decide that, yep, this is the program and I could use some support, then we can have a longer conversation and go over those details as well. But for today, I want to thank all of you for joining the live training. I appreciate your support and for continuously coming to these live trainings and watching them. But if you did watch this on replay, let me know so I know that you received the information. Take care and have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye.